Hi, and welcome to the InterSolar 2010. I'm here at the stand of Freiburg, the original home of the InterSolar, and I'd like to welcome you to this short overview that we're presenting about things happening, interesting events, technologies and ideas turning up here at the InterSolar 2010. The first new podcast in a series called Intelligent Renewable Energy Podcast after the company, and it comes from what is perhaps the most happening place in terms of solar energy today, the largest solar energy technology fair in the world, and we're going to have a look around for you. The InterSolar has always been the place to find out about new technology trends and new marketplace directions. This year we're seeing a lot more in the way of building integrated PV, where in this case, for example, the PV is replacing the substance of the roof and actually becoming the roof. And we're seeing a great deal more of this than we have in the past. And of course, excellent feed-in tariffs in countries like France, where building integrated PV is very well supported, helps us to move in that direction. And here we have another example of a solar roof, the Roto solar roof by Roto GmbH. On another trendy topic, we also spoke to Mark Hankins, author of the Standalone Solar Electric Systems book, about where standalone systems fit into all of this.
With the subsidies in Europe for Grid Connect, it's kind of warped the market. So people have really focused on the Grid Connect side, but the off-grid market has always been the market that is steady. The off-grid systems are more complex and they have more room for failure. New inverters are really changing things. The LED lights are changing things. The drop in panel prices. We're still stuck with lead-acid batteries, but I think the prices are getting better, and we're definitely seeing that the lower prices available and higher flexibility of systems.
Now let's take a look at some of the companies present at the InterSolar this year. I've been visiting the InterSolar now since day one, and there's always been a hall where the big guns were, but they were never quite this big before. And certainly it's clear that a number of big names who are also involved in other sectors and other industries are now taking PV very seriously indeed. You can see Samsung behind me. If I look around, I see a lot of big companies, Sulfurcell, others, new companies, new big companies that are coming into the game now very quickly. It's a clear sign of strong and healthy global growth. Where we've seen significant growth has been in those companies focusing on delivering services, products, tools and equipment to the PV sector itself. Where 5, 6, 7 years ago, at best, these businesses, these industries were visible on the periphery of the InterSolar. Today they make up a strong central core of service-oriented businesses that focus on delivering important tools, measurements equipment, services, consulting and the like to the PV sector to help it grow. Another interesting trend has been the activity of regions in profiling themselves in this sector. We don't see that the big guns are just German anymore by any stretch of the imagination, or just from the US. From where I'm standing, I can see Chinese companies, I can see Indian companies, I can see Spanish companies, I can see German companies, I can see US companies. It's clear a lot has changed over the last 5 years. What has become increasingly clear is that countries and regions are working hard to establish themselves as technology centers for renewable energy, solar energy technologies. Here we are seeing Spain, but where I stand at the moment I can see 5 or 6 regions, 6 or 7 countries, all advertising themselves as solar regions. Here we see Freiburg's Green City cluster. Certainly it's impossible to ignore. China is everywhere this year, more so than ever before. Bigger, better, with a broad range of products and some very exciting own developments in a number of areas, things that we haven't seen from China before. And that in and of itself is very interesting already. But it's nice to see a big solid block of Chinese companies in almost every hall, providing almost every imaginable technology and every imaginable service that you can imagine in the PV sector. Here we are now at Samsung's stand itself, and it's very, very interesting. Korea is an often ignored and often unfairly judged market, both for the installation and the manufacture of photovoltaics. Of course, there are a myriad of small companies manufacturing PV in Korea today. But the big players, Samsung, for example, the company that makes fabulous cameras, fabulous televisions, fabulous Blu-ray players, fabulous anything you can imagine, just about from ships all the way down to cars. At the end of the day, it's hardly imaginable that a company like that wouldn't make excellent PV. And the truth is, they do. Unfortunately, when we think of global players, we're not immediately thinking of the big Korean companies yet. But that's definitely going to change. And I say keep an eye on Korea. It's going to be a very exciting market, both for installations and for manufacturing.
I work in East Africa, and my view of the off-grid market is that 15 years from now, we are going to have lodges, off-grid telecom. We're going to have off-grid middle-class people.
So we hope you've enjoyed this overview of the 2010 InterSolar in Munich. We certainly found it to be a fascinating and stimulating event. Don't forget to check out the products and services offered on our website at www.intelligent-re.com. Until next time.